Hello guys, it's Abhinav back in action. So we are on in a new series called climate change. So this is series because it's a part one and there's a part two coming up. So I'll be doing part one first by yours lovingly Abhinav. Let's get down to the PPT. Let's dive basically. So most of you know what's the climate change. Okay, so people who doesn't know climate change will understand hey guys, it's pretty simple. It's a change in climate, right? Yeah, it's technically a change in climate, but scientifically, the definition is that it refers to a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. Suppose to break it for you, I consider suppose like for 200 years or like continuously for centuries and centuries, there must have been a pattern of weather and temperature. So in that pattern, if something changes that pattern or something comes in between of the pattern or changes that, then it is known as a climatic change or climate change. Sorry. So these shifts may be natural, such as through variations in the solar cycle, and the main cause. I'll be talking about cause and effect in the upcoming video. The upcoming parts. But I'll give you a heads up. The main cause for the climate change is humans ourselves. So we have to blame ourselves for this. Because of the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, gas, many pollutions. Pollutions are released in the form of air, or in the air pollution is released from these power plant industries. We blame ourselves for the climate change. And some examples of climate change are nitrogen, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, and carbon dioxide. So we will be talking about in detail in the upcoming part of the video. Causes of climate change, yeah, as I gave it a heads up, there are many causes, but four main causes are greenhouse gases, deforestation, human activities, and electricity and heat emissions. So first of all, what is a greenhouse gas? So we'll be talking about a greenhouse gas in detail in the upcoming parts of PPT. But how does it even affect the climate change? So that's an interesting thing to note in the greenhouse gas is that it is actually good for Earth. It absorbs the heat rays, harmful UV rays, and then slowly releases into the space. If not for greenhouse gas, the Earth would be a frozen wetland. So, but then when the greenhouse gases is increased to a rate where it's very very high, then it becomes very harmful and dangerous. We can compare it with this like a saying in Tamil, called அளவுக்கு மீறினால் அமுதமும் நெஞ்சு, which means that even if the good food, or even when the amudam is taken in high or very increased or high amounts, then it's poisonous to our body. Just like that, when greenhouse gases also need to be maintained in a level, and if that level increases, it becomes very harmful and dangerous for the Earth. And it also acts a major contribution to the climate change. Deforestation. So many of you might be thinking how deforestation really affects the climate change. It really affects the climate change because when you cut down trees, you already know that the trees or plants take in the CO2 and then releases O2, which means they take in the carbon dioxide and they releases oxygen. So when you cut down the trees, there are high chances that the CO2 or carbon dioxide will be released into the atmosphere. Because of this, the greenhouse gases are increased, and they cause the climatic change or climate change. And one more thing is that CO2 or carbon dioxide is a major contributor of greenhouse gases to climate change. And human activities, as I gave it a heads up in the previous slide, human activities like burning of coal, oil, gas, everything, is a cause for climate change. The pollutions, air, land, water, take any pollution you want, it act as a cause for climate change. And heat emissions or electricity and heat emissions. When the climate change occurs, there will be a very heat emissions or lots and lots of heat is emitted into the atmosphere. It also acts as a cause for climate change. And heat emissions will lead to the melting of glaciers in the poles. And melting of glaciers will lead to increase in sea level, and the increase of sea level will lead to flooding. And we'll be talking about this in the next slide. Effects. Yeah, okay, we'll dive on to the next slide. Yeah, how climate change will have an effect on the earth. Climate change will have a massive effect on wildlife, plants, and even to humans. Melting of glaciers leads to flooding and also an increase in the sea level. Harsh climate. So, note this point: harsh climate. So, when does the climate change? There is a change in the pattern of climate, right? So, if a country is experience hotter weather or climate, then the climate will change to cold or coldest, or it will become worsen like hotter, hottest. We can't predict how the climate will change, and even if the climate is so cold, coldest, we will not be able to live like in Siberia, Antarctica, and northern parts of Russia. There's very less people, and that is connected with population dynamics, and we are not going to that. So I'm just saying that harsh climate means not only about hotter, hottest, but also coldest. We can't actually predict it. And if the climate is harsh, then it can either lead to excess rainfall or to drought, as you all know. And in this picture, you can see that all the glaciers are being melted, and also increase in the sea level. What is greenhouse gas? Yeah. So now we are coming to the next subtopic, greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases are also known as GHG, short for basically gases in an Earth's atmosphere that traps heat. As you can see this in this picture, that this layer of gas or this layer of gas is known as greenhouse gas, so which will prevent the sun's rays from entering the Earth. It will capture the Earth's sun rays and then release slowly into the space. Thereby, it keeps the Earth warm. Greenhouse gases have both good and bad effects. It depends upon the amount of GHG or greenhouse gases we release per day into the atmosphere. As the name suggests, the gases let in the heat from the sun and releases it slowly into the space. I already explained it. Some common examples are carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbons, methane, nitrogen, etc. Causes of greenhouse effect. The major contributor for greenhouse effect is carbon dioxide, as I said earlier, which holds a major share of the greenhouse gases. The chlorofluorocarbons are totally man-made gases. It's not a natural 1%. It's 100% man-made gases which are stored in refrigerators and foam spray. If these items were thrown away, or if these items were broken up, these harmful man-made GHG gases will be released in the atmosphere. Basically in these refrigerators and foams, chlorofluorocarbons are present. And natural gas production, biomass burning, thermals and landfill also releases methane, which is a harmful greenhouse gas. Advantages of greenhouse gases. So now we will be talking about the good side of the greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gas help block the harmful solar radiation from reaching the planet's surface. These gases work like a filter and bounce back most of the unwanted and damaging energy into the space. Ozone. You all know ozone layer, right? Which is located in the stratosphere. Is one of the crucial greenhouse gases It absorbs harmful UV rays or ultraviolet rays of the sun. If not for greenhouse gases, yeah, the earth will be frozen wasteland, as I said earlier. Now we'll be going to the bad side, disadvantages of greenhouse gases. They cause climate change by trapping heat, and they also contribute to respiratory disease from smog and air pollution like skin cancer like that. Extreme weather, food supply disruptions and increased wildfires are other effects of climate change caused by GHGs. Global warming occurs due to an increase in temperature via a greenhouse effect. There has also been a rise in water level due to the greenhouse effect, which destroys the marine life and the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the ozone layer it is located in the stratosphere. It contains the ozone molecules, right? Its main function is to prevent the harmful UV rays entering the earth from the sun. The region where these ozone layers or ozone molecules are present is known as an ozonosphere. As you can see here, it traps these UV rays or the harmful rays from the sun, and this layer is known as an ozone layer, and this is known as the earth and sun. Okay, you all know that. Why ozone layer is depleted? So I mean by the term depleted is that there are many holes, vortigal, in the ozone layer. The main reason is that ozone layer is depleted because of all the climate change. The climate change is a major cause for the ozone depletion, and also increased weight in the greenhouse gases like methane, CO2, chlorofluorocarbons, etc., etc., etc. When chlorine and bromine atoms come into contact with ozone in the stratosphere, they destroy ozone molecules. One chlorine atom can destroy over 100,000 ozone molecules before it is removed from the stratosphere. The effects of ozone depletion is that when the ozone layer becomes thin or destroyed, it will fail to absorb the UV rays from the sun. If the UV rays attack the earth from the sun, there are many side effects for both humans, wildlife, plants, all the living organisms will have a hit. Humans will have skin cancer due to the direct rays of the UV rays from the sun. Planktons, which are the very foundation of the vast oceanic food chain, are also killed, which means the food chain in the ocean are disrupted. Okay, so what are the efforts to prevent the ozone depletion? Limit the private vehicle driving and drive eco-friendly vehicles like bicycles. Why can't you use bicycles to go to a nearest shop instead of using bikes and cars? You don't need to show off your wealth and show off your pride. Bicycles is a very good eco-friendly option. And use eco-friendly household cleaning products and avoid using pesticides which contains harmful greenhouse gases. Ban the use of dangerous nitrous oxide, and develop the stringent relationships for rocket launches. All those harmful smoke or smoke coming out of the rockets are also a major contributor to the climate change. So, what has this government or international efforts to control greenhouse effect? A separate committee formed to prevent the climate change, named as the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, shortly known as UNFCCC. The Convention on Climate Change sets an overall framework for the countries. So in future they have agreed that the global warming should be reduced at any cost to 2 degrees Celsius or 3.6 Fahrenheit relative to the pre-industrial level. The climate change convention was held at Rio Earth Summit in June 1992. Most of you might be aware of the Kyoto Protocol. By this protocol, countries agreed to cut the greenhouse gas emissions by 5.4%. This is one of the efforts taken by international committee or international efforts to control the greenhouse effect of climate change. We'll be talking about climate change in India, how it affected India and what will be the future and all in the part 2. Hope you like this video. Thank you guys, and please like, share and subscribe to our channel and to view all our informative videos. As the name suggests, the Allrounders normally post specific contents which is open to each and every content. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.